Hello, hello, and what's your good news, Sharky? I want to hear it. Tell me the good news. Best girl you are. Oh hey, there's the 390th follower. How very fun. Very fun indeed. Queen Bean 07. The video footage I saw last has been fully recovered. That is good news! I'm very happy for you. It's always so scary when you think you're about to lose video footage. It's happened to me before, it's awful. Hi there, Dinosaur609. Good to see you. Then, obviously the next thing to do is going to be to open up Godot engine. And kind of start programming. Bing, bing. So, to recap on where we are currently, because not only has it been a bit since last stream, I also did a tiny bit more editing on my own. At the moment, thought you lost it on the 20th January. So bummed. That's off. Yippee! Wahoo! Very happy for you. So, we have all these different runes, right? You can drag them here. And for the most part, it's how I want it to be. There's a couple little things that don't quite work how I want it to. And it is a drag drop, then click drag. Cause why, how, boolean. So these are one of them. This is just a texture issue, actually. Is that, because I put this line on the texture when it actually shouldn't be. Basically, I just need to remove that. And that's something I'll do another time. Just because it is not important. I will do it another day. But you'll see we've got all of these. And oops, I skipped a couple. This UI setup is reminding me of a mobile game, but I'm forgetting the name. I don't know exactly which one you're talking about. It could be that you're talking about, like, Little Alchemy. That one was popular a while ago. This is a temporary UI setup anyway, so it doesn't super matter. But bingo? Yeah, I'm so smart. That one was big when I was in grade school. So these are the different basic runes. Then we can click this and we can go like this. Alright? We can change some of the meanings with the dough stick. And then we can use some combinations. My personal favorite combination right now that just really demonstrates the whole system is I can combine who and why to make them mind. Then I can shrink it down a little. I can get another y, because mind plus y equals soul. I can shrink it down. Then if I go and make this into day, and I make this into anti-superlative, evaluation plus anti-superlative makes no. Then no plus day. Here, I'm actually going to shrink this a bit. I can put that there. Then I can take a possessive. Shrink it a bit. Put it there. Then I get one more soul. Whoops. Go in there. There we go. Hang on, it's the other way around. And hang on. Oh, maybe it still has to be like this? No. Some of the sizes get a little weird sometimes, but that's okay. Alright, you know what it might be? might be like this. Okay, I'm gonna actually have to double check how it's written. Apparently I can't remember my own language. It would be this. Alright. So N. And N is evaluation. So it does start with the evaluation. And there's a comma there. Okay. Whoops, that is the wrong thing. It's this. Oh, wait a second. So we do have this, right, for no. Then it goes dot H, and H is the possessive. Right? Yeah, possessive. And then that. Okay, so this should be working. It was before, I think. I don't quite know why it isn't. Hang on a second. So what we can do to debug this is just go here. No, actually we can stay here. Go to the bottom, then print put. There we go, and we can pause. Go here. Now, here's what the total thing is, right? And dot. See, that's our first issue. Is that these have to be n dot because it's overlapping and not contained, like in those. And the second thing is that this is incorrect. Because this is saying that the Y contains both of those. But it shouldn't. And last but not least, that last one shouldn't have a comma. So let's first go here. Alright, I paused. Let's comment this out for a second. And let's unpause. Hang on. It's still doing that for some reason. Don't know why. Okay, there. So let's start from the top. Because it's not magnet, hang on. So we take... Sorry, it's a little tricky to get it to actually go away sometimes. I can delete them by putting them into the red zone, but it can't overlap this when it does that, and I haven't gotten it to, you know, disappear under that part yet. So that's why that's like that. But if I take any superlative evaluation, rank, boom, no, and then day, and then possessive, hang on, day, possessive, then sometimes it's a little finicky to get it in there proper. And I get another one of those. Maybe like middle mouse to delete or somewhere. Maybe. That could be a good idea. I tried to limit how many different buttons there are total, because like it's probably never going to be played with a controller, but I want to try and do my best to keep the options open. But that's not a bad idea. Most likely I'm probably just going to make this part disappear. This part, like another panel, put it over this so that these can disappear behind it. See, there's some, which is exactly what it should be. Controller has tons of buttons. Not that many. and you never know which ones you need. So then when I go like this, that's fire. Okay, so this is the exact same as before, but the sequencing matters. For example, if I put this here now, okay, it does work. And where it lacks in buttons, you can make up for in UI. That's true, but either way, you see how this combination makes fire. And the reason for that is because the day's soul here, right? Because if I deconstruct this, you can see how day plus possessive plus soul makes sun. And then sun, well, basically, if you think about sun as day plus soul, then you can say when there is no day, or rather, no sun, then no sun plus another soul or energy is fire. So basically, the energy when there's no daylight, you know? That is how I came up with that back when I first made it. And that's how a lot of different things are constructed. It is just with that sort of logic, you know? What I've got to figure out right now is... I think I was going to look into... over here. I was gonna figure out how to make a, basically a workstation. Right? So basically something that will bring up the, editor menu, right? So that you would click it and the caveman making fire immediately after mastering philosophy. No, that's kind of how it is. I don't know what my exact process was because it was a while ago. I've been working on the actual language for months, just because it's a fun little hobby. But I do think what I want to do next is figure out... I need to see if this raycast is actually used anywhere, I think. Right, because, you know. Because this one would have... This whole project is really neat. I'm really glad you think so, you know? A lot of people seem to have just been kind of like, yeah, that's a cool thing you're doing, but I'm very glad there's some people, not just you, but a number of people have been interested in the project as a concept. I'm very excited about it. We're going to need to make it so that you, I have concepts, okay? Just trust me. It's going to be kind of complex, and I don't know if it's going to be possible. I'm going to be so honest, I do not know if it's possible. And I'm probably doing it in the worst way, but we're figuring it out. Now, let me see about going like this. This isn't needed anymore, but I will leave it in for now. Believe, you believe. Yes, I'm glad. We want a new scene, and this scene is a 3D scene, and it will be called, Scroll Workstation. Alright? So, it's a little bit of a complex system that I'm thinking of right now. Right now, if you... Where is it? Oh, here. So right now, you'll see I can walk around and stuff, and I can pull up the inventory, right? And I can... These just are example placeholder placeholder triangles, right? But my goal is that you're going to have these placeholder triangles be the scrolls, essentially. Or, I mean, this is really a placeholder inventory entirely, because I'm going to need to replace it with something better. But the goal is going to be to have these, you know, these store the data for the scroll. So when I open up the menu for the rune editor, this inventory will come up. You'll choose one of these, and you'll drag it onto there, and then you will start editing it. Right? And so for that to be the case, I need obviously a way to save the data you make with the scroll editor. But in addition to that, I need what I was about to start making, which is the scroll workstation. Right, and for now, this is going to be a mesh instance 3D. Don't let Shimon use MS Paint, she will turn into pirate software. You're so silly. I use Krita usually. Or even, you know what I can do is I can do take screenshot, and I can just like go like this, and I can click this one. I can smile, and I can just draw over the screen. It does stop me from seeing chat, just because it does freeze when you do the screenshot. But it's kind of cool that I can just draw on the screen whenever I feel like. I mean, if I need to, at least. We do want it to be a new box mesh. Alright, and I am gonna, I think we can close these ones for now. Since we're not immediately using them. We're definitely gonna need to reopen those. But for now, we're going to need a... I mean, just like the way you explain things is similar to Thor in a strange way. Maybe it's because I'm talking about programming. Maybe it's just because I'm talking about programming. We do need a collider. I don't know what it's called exactly in 3D. Hang on. Is it called a box collider? No? Okay, well, we'll just look through the tree. Node 3D. That could be it. Collision shaped 3D. Oh, this needs to be the other way around then, huh? Can't repair it. Okay, we need a shape on the collision shape. And there's a new box. Okay. What's this? Only serves to provide a collision shape to a collision object 3D derived node. Please only use it as child of air 3D, rigid body 3D. Okie dokie. We're probably gonna want this to be a static body 3D then. Let's see if that works. Am I allowed to do that? I think I am. So we'll save this. It will be an asset. We're probably gonna need a new folder for this one, and we're probably gonna name it something like interactive, as an abbreviation for interactive object. And this will be scroll workstation.tscn. And tscn is just T scene. I don't know what the T is for, but it doesn't matter much. So now that we have this, we'll see if we can bring it in, not there, interactive. Alright. So that's that. We don't need it to be anything fancy. It really can just be a box. And it's going to be static because we don't need it to move unless we tell it to, which is good. So now what I want to do is I want to add a script to... Where is it? Attach script. My whole thing is a bit of a mess. Really, I should have different scripts folder for each thing. But unfortunately, I have like one scripts folder with some stuff, and then the rest are just wherever is convenient, you know? The organization is really lacking here. It's sort of vague, and it's not my favorite, but it is what it is. So, what I need to know right now is, so on the player, right? I want the player to be first, thank you. We have this raycast, right? I'm curious about... So we have the raycast as an object here already. But it's never used. So I think this player input script is super simple. You'll notice I have focus as a thing. So how it's going to work is you're going to hold the scroll you want to use in your hand, and then you will hold down the focus button to cast it, right? And that'll be basically simulating pouring, I would say mana or mana. I would say that, but I'm not quite certain that's what I want to call it yet. I might just call it magic power, shortened to MP, or mana points or something. I'm unsure exactly what I want to call it just now, but it's probably, like, it's just energy, you know, magic. However much of it you have. You put that into your scroll by focusing, and that's what casts the spell. And it might be too much to try and make players manage how much mana they use. That might be a bit too much, because we're already having them program them, essentially. But if I could get them to the concept of mana, gotcha. Yeah, pretty much. You understand, Dennis Howard. It might be too much to have them manage that, because I was thinking, when I started, I was thinking that I'd have them essentially pour in, like, a quantized unit, or rather, quantized unit is kind of redundant, but have them put in a number into a scroll, essentially. So the scroll would say, using this much mana, and it would take always exactly that much, and if you don't have enough for it, it explodes in your face or something. And then if you don't use all of that mana in the scroll, then you just lose it, you know? So players would be incentivized to basically micromanage exactly how much mana is being used in their scroll and optimize it for minimum mana usage, fastest casting, most damage, all these different factors. But that might be a bit much, especially since I haven't even figured out all the details in the spell language. It's a little tricky. It's tricky because I need to have it have outputs, essentially. I need to be loose enough that players can write spells however they really want to. But I need it to be strict enough that, you know, it actually has form and function. I can't just have them write down fire and have it work. The baby just freaking explode. Yeah, that's what happens when somebody, I think it's when they leave chat and have been gone for like a minute or two. Yeah, it just happens. It will happen to you if you leave. But, what I need to do next is I need to basically just know what the raycast is seeing. No. So I'm going to say, print raycast dot collide with bodies. What's this do? Okay, so that's a boolean, so that's just going to always print true. I think I have that set to true. Then we want to collide with, so we're looking at methods, I think. Get collider, maybe? Turns the first object that the ray intersects. Okay, so that's what we want. So, dot get collider. So if I print this, then I go, oh, whoops, that is incorrect. Hang on. Whoops. So it's obviously printing object null because there's nothing to intersect. If I go to testing 1, where we have this box, then I can go over here and you'll see how it's printing object null there. But then if I, excuse me? Hang on. Well, if I look at this, yeah, okay, so that works exactly how I want it to. Alright. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a new global group. Groups are really convenient because they basically are like a property that you can assign to different objects. I have the D handler, which is the draggable handler, because it was just an easy way to get the object that I was looking for. The object in that case was the draggable handler object, which is the only thing in that group. And the reason for that is because what I do with my runes is that I was having a lot of trouble getting it so that only one could be picked up at a time. Because obviously they all have the script. So if I say, when I pick you up, don't pick up anything else, that exact frame that I click one, all the other ones underneath it are also going to say, oh, no one's being picked up right now, so I can be picked up. the draggable handler is basically an outside observer, the referee essentially. It holds up a flag and says, "Hey, something's been picked up. Nobody else can be picked up." And so all the other runes are like, "You got it, boss," and I win. Essentially, I'm the victor. I get to laugh and say, "Aha, I win! Yippee, hooray for me!" So then, I was about to add this one to a new group, and it's a global group so that other objects can access it. And this group will be called interactive. And the reason for that is obvious, because these objects are going to be what, you know, interact. So then, in the player, call it, if true, then shame him dot win. That's so silly. We're going to print, or not print, we're going to say var whoops, hang on. Okay, var looking at equals raycast dot get collider. Because you see here how it's printing the object, right? So it's not printing like it's printing the object. So this will give us the object. Then I will say if looking at dot is in group. I wonder if that's a thing. Let's see. Okay, that's not a thing normally, but let's Google if we have a method that will allow us to get the group an object is in. And that's quite literally what I'm searching. I'm searching how to check if object is in group godot. Add to group, call group. Okay, interesting. So we can call group as a different kind of thing. Then get nodes in group is the other one. Okay, so it looks like we are going to have to do it in a little bit of an annoying way. Not super annoying, just slightly annoying, because I wish there was this method exactly. But we can instead go on ready, we can say, we're going to need it to be a variable existing already. We're going to say var interactive objects equals what am I doing wrong though? How am I spelling that? Get tree first, right? That was it. Hang on, I don't need to set that there. I just need to set that there is a variable with that name. Then I go over here, click save real quick. Then once we're ready, because you can't actually get the tree when you aren't ready. It wouldn't make any sense at all. So we will say interactive objects equals get tree dot get node or get objects. Yeah, I'm forgetting already. Keep closing the tab thinking I'm not gonna get nodes in group, so it is nodes, okay. Whoops. Interactive, there we go. Why are you complaining at me? Cannot find, oh, wait, hang on, this needs to be like that. So that's a method, no, it's a function or method. I actually don't know what the difference is between a method and a function. They might be the same thing. Let's find out. Method versus function. A function is a piece of code that is called by name, can be passed data to operate on. A method is a piece of code that is called by name that is associated with an object. In most respects, it is identical to a function, except for two key differences. Would you say talking through the code as you're writing makes it easier? Or I guess different? It's at least nice. It's at least fun. It definitely is helpful when I'm talking about a problem I'm having. That's just the classic rubber ducky thing, you know? It's definitely different, because it externalizes everything, sort of. Because you're not just saying things to yourself in your head, because people are not normal in their head, right? Nobody's normal when they're thinking to themselves. But when you're saying things out loud, you kind of are able to hear what it sounds like, and you can go, that's not normal. At least I think. Maybe I'm overcomplicating things. Maybe it's just fun. That is my 10:30 alarm. I'll stop that. But yeah, so this basically they're the same thing. That's my understanding between the two. What I was doing is getting the nodes in the group. So now we can say, if looking at, because this is going to be a list of all the nodes in the group interactive. So now I can say if in interactive objects print, hey, looky here. Alright, nobody's normal in their own head. I'm glad you think it's a fun quote. Now we don't test it here, obviously. I can actually click the big play button, because that's where the thing is. So now when I walk around, nothing should happen. Huh? How odd. Oh, you know what happened there? So, the thing about this is when I start up the game, right, it captures my mouse, so I can look around just fine. But I think I keep on tricking myself with that, is I think that the game is capturing my keyboard inputs by default because my mouse gets captured. But the thing is, it's not. It is, in fact, still typing here when I click play. So what has to happen is I have to click play, then click on this, and then I can walk around. So when I look at this, and look away, we should see a bunch of, hey, looky here. And it isn't continuously printing that, which means that it is only printing that when I look at that, which is exactly what I wanted. So then we can set a new variable. I'll set, well, I'll put an else first. So we're going to say, so we're going to need a new variable, var and interact. Then we're going to say else equals false. And then if they are looking at it, you can say can interact equals true. So basically this will allow us to, you know, find if they press the interact button. And we need to decide what the interact button is going to be. It's going to be in project settings. So input map, these are the different things I have right now. Let's see, because I have inventory as E, jump as space. I never actually set a jump. I don't think they can jump right now. I think they are incapable of jumping. Exact opposite problem of Portal, where they could do nothing but jump. So yeah, there is actually no way to jump right now, but I have a button for jumping. That's fine. Anyways, we were looking at these. We have, obviously, movement. We have the escape button. We have focus. We have jump. I could have focus be also to interact with something. You hold down the focus button and you interact if you're able to. I mean, that would make sense. This shouldn't be called rotate rune, I think. We'll leave it like that for now, but you know, we're probably gonna need that for something later. Honestly though, right click is actually a classic. Why am I overcomplicating this? Right click just makes sense. So we will go if can interact if can interact, looking at, or actually, I don't actually know for sure. So if I go here, can I make a signal? So what I need to happen is I need basically, I mean, honestly, I don't know if I even need anything from this scroll workstation other than for it to sit there, right? And be something to look at. Because if I'll get rid of this for now. Because we don't seem to need it right now. Because what I'm seeing is UI stuff, like I can look over here. This is a 2D section, like the inventory UI is a thing here. And it'll always pop up there. So this is basically the UI of the player's screen, right? So the inventory UI is its own scene. I'm probably going to need another UI for the scroll editor to exist in. So, but basically they all exist at once, is what my understanding is. I don't know if that's actually a good way of doing it, but it's at least the way that's been working so far. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say, going to add, here, let's add a control. Alright. And this one will just be called UI. And it won't have anything. If it works, it works, and it will work until it doesn't. Exactly. So does this break anything? I don't think it should. Alright. We can still bring this up and everything. That's good. So the reason I want to do that is because then I can organize my UI into here. I can add a child node control. And this one can be scroll. Well, hang on. This one can be workstation. And then I'm thinking I have this use a script to instantiate the scroll editor once they've chosen the right thing. Right, so essentially, maybe not. Well, at the very least, I need to have a background. Let's delete this really quickly. Let's add a background to this. Add child node. It can just be a regular old panel that goes across the whole thing. Can drag it up there. I should put it in the back, yeah? Yeah. Okie dokie. The only problem with that is that it actually is bad. So I need this to... I think I will make this actually white for now. It's going to be terrible for dark mode users, but it will be fine for now. I can make it something that toggles in the future. It changes to the proper thingering. Modulate white. So it's already on those. That's a curious little thing. So I can make it invisible. For one, we want mouse to ignore. Theme. Overrides. Children. Texture. Okay, well, maybe we just don't use a panel. We will change type to a texture rect. Yes. And then I can just go and I can get my inventory texture, because it is convenient to just use one thing. That's good enough. It doesn't need to be anything fancy at all. Then we can just go and I want to make sure that when I change the thing, it still says ignore. That's good. So it's obviously not fancy. It's the exact same as the other thing. This one. So then when I go and I say to, where is it? Scroll editor. Add it there. Actually below the UI. Or the input. I don't think we're going to want to have them both on at once. So as it is right now, if I open up into testing one, it could actually give me, yeah, it'll be completely covered in this. And it actually works pretty much out of the box. But first we need to make it hidden by default, right? So we're going to want to attach a script. And it looks like I've just been keeping all the other things in there. And we basically want to copy what the inventory UI has, which is to say, is open, is false by default. In fact, honestly, I'm gonna just copy everything here. Alright? And then just delete the things I don't need. Yes. Then don't really need that function. And then instead of inventory, hang on. I'm actually not sure we need this at all. We will say we'll close this. And then in the players script, I want to say can I have it broadcast something? Hang on. I need to say if it's captured, right? Input dot. Well, hang on, we've got input as that mode. We need it to be a mouse click. Where is it? This one? Yeah. Input dot is action pressed R click. That's what we're after. Well, I can close these. Then we will say, program player input dot, what was it? I've already forgotten what it was I looked at. Is action just pressed, right? R click. Basically, if you press on that, then you can go and say and incorrect. Looking at dot open, input dot, how can I set mouse mode visible? Let's see if this works. That's the wrong button. Hang on. So as it is, this closes, right? It closes itself. But now if we go here, and walk around, do what we please, and we right click this, that did not work. That crashed. A non-existent function open in base. Right. Okay. So that's not quite what I had hoped for. Because I was hoping for it to just call this, basically. If I... Okay, I can instead set the variable dot is open equals true. Maybe that works instead. So then here I say if is open else close. Let's see if that works, maybe. No. Invalid assignment of is open. Bool. Gotcha. So we're trying to get the static body 3D. Oh, but this actually doesn't exist, does it? We're editing this. Oh, I'm silly and a half. Okie dokie. So this scroll editor.gd. Nothing was wrong with all this, right? I don't think we need that still. Nothing's wrong with anything in here, right? What's wrong is that there's nothing in here, right? We can say open, function open. Well, actually, we'll start with ready. Maybe we just say var or on ready var editor equals, and we get the scroll editor here. Okay, so that doesn't work. Hoping it would, but var editor equals, maybe we can scroll editor like so. There we go. Then func open. Well, no, because we need it to be a specific. All right. We'll just have this be a pass for now. We need it to be the instance of the scroll editor that is attached to the player, right? That is the tricky. So, on ready, we need it to say, here we will say var editor, so we'll declare that it exists. And on ready, we will say editor equals get node Maybe not. Hang on. Get node. Well, let's see exactly how this works. Hang on. Which is a node can either be a relative path or an absolute path from the scene tree.root. Okie dokie. Get node. Player, and then from player we go / UI / scroll editor. Then can I print editor? So does this kill me? Not instantly, that's good. On open we say editor.open, close, editor.load. So let's see if this kills me instantly. It does. Can't, oh, that's because we're setting this right now, but we need to actually switch it back to the other way. Now when I do that, it's still no. Nog function, hang on, that is just open, not is open. This is just little syntax things. Okay, that's a good sign. I do think that is incorrectly spaced. So this background, we need to have transform, stretch mode, to scale, layout, transform, 1920 by 1030. I guess it probably isn't going to end up being perfect, unfortunately. Anyhow, you'll see... Oh wait, hang on. The reason for that might be that it is not full screen, technically. So that's why it's... This is one size, but the screen is like this much less, which is why we aren't getting the bottom part of that. But that's a good thing. So then what I need here is in menu equals true. I'm about to invent the in menu variable. And we'll say it's false by default. Then we'll say it's in menu. And then here. What I need is first hang on. No, we'll have it be like this. All right. We'll have it be like this. If in menu, then we will say it in menu equals false. Then we will say looking at close. Alright. Else. And then I actually think this needs to just be its own thing. Else, do this. Whoops, don't move that around, please. Bing, bing. There. So now when I click this, I can open up my inventory. Hang on a second. It only works if I click first thing. That's a little bit annoying. I have to click first thing. I can right click here, I can escape there, press E, 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 right click, and then I can do all my editing. A little tricky that the text is not legible at all. Let me see if I can fix that. Because that would be a draggable. It's not that one. Hang on. Draggable. It's actually shrimply its own scene. Why am I looking around here? Where did it go? There it is. So here you'll see. This might be a good time to kind of give you guys a rundown of the position, or rather the way things are set up for the draggables. They each use a 12-point collision polygon 2D. So basically for all the different shapes, I set these points to different spots, and that basically gives me the right collider shape. I've been meaning to move this there for the triangle one specifically, which I can do pretty much whenever I feel like though, so it's not my priority. What I'm looking at is the label. I need to see edit, font, outline, there we go. We will have a 5-pixel black outline. Then I can go back here and I can say test. Okay, that is actually not good enough. Good to know. So then we will edit again. We'll bump this up to like 15. We'll go bing. There we go. That's more like it. If I go back here, I don't even need to click the little one. But yeah, now they're much more readable. Very cool. So now we have our little workstation. Kind of. Oh, hey there, Grace. Let's see. Oh, we're at an hour. You've reminded me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bathroom because I've needed to for like the past 20 minutes and I've been putting it off for the hour break. I'm going to put a sneak peek of my video on my YouTube. Oh, that's very fun. I hope I get to see it soon. I will be right back though because I do need to use the vacuum. I'm sorry to have missed Dinosaur leaving, but they say, oh, whoops, wrong. There it is. They say, this was fun but better, head to bed, have a great rest of the stream, thank you very much. And good luck with the game dev, the idea has turned back a bucket tons of potential. I'm glad you think so! I'm super excited about it. And speaking of, this next part I'm not excited about. Ironic, isn't it? So the difficulty is, now we can interact with this object, right? And we can basically tell it to do, we can open up our menu, our editor. Right, but the problem is, it doesn't know what scroll you're editing. That is the first issue. Well, actually, that's the main issue. That's actually the only issue. I can't think of the other issues. That's the first thing. The other thing is I actually haven't finished working out the language. There's still a lot to figure out. Here, I'm gonna be right back one more quick time so I can grab my book so I can go over a few things with it. This will be quick, I promise. Okay, I'm back, part 2. So, y'all can't see the book right now, but basically, in order to figure out how the language works, I have been essentially translating the Minecraft end poem, right? So if I go into the editor, I can start writing out a couple things to kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about. So the first line of the Minecraft end poem is, I see the player you meet, right? That's what it is. Except I write it a bit differently here because we don't have those exact words. So it's, first of all, it's I, and then it's C. So it goes Bing. And for site, we go like this. I believe it is where. No? Wait, hang on, I know why. Because it's an action. Oops. That should... Why is that disappearing? That's actually very odd. Anyhow. There. I have no idea why that does that. That's kind of strange, funny that it does this, though. Why does that disappear when it's put down? But basically... Yeah, I have no... Why does that do that? Does it always just disappear? It doesn't just always disappear. Everything... Oh, you know what it is? You know what it is? That is because the background. They're just going behind the background. That is ridiculous. We're going to say ordering Z as relative is off, maybe? Hang on. Z and... So... We just need to... I need to get it in the back. How to set object is always behind godot. Let's see. Small sea level godot. Lowest level is the index. I just need to know. That is not helpful, I don't think. I'm thinking I might have to just guess. Say not relative. Go -5. You know? Whoops. So if I go back here, I just click play. So if I go bing, bing, bing. Also, I think I do want to switch things up. For draggable, when I adjust children, equals self dot scale dot x times 0.9. 0.scale dot self dot scale dot y times 0.9. And the reason for doing this reason for doing this is to make them more easily scaled, you know? So when I do this now, that's odd. Oh, you know what? It is because it doesn't quite work the way I want it to. Okay, then we will just say, instead of that, we'll say whatever its scale is multiplied by 0.8 and 9 respectively. That way it mostly stays the same. And if I go who and why, oh, forgot about that part. Here, I'm actually gonna Do these need to be inside the if selected? I don't think so. Pop them out there. Well, hang on. They do need to be down here, I think. So let's try some of that. So now they will never get too small or too big. Right? So I go here. Okay, so it does shrink all the way down, which I guess I did tell it to do. Which I don't want it to do. Like, I want them to be able to be that small. Here, maybe instead of putting these somewhere else, right? Maybe I leave those as it is so that the player can choose to make it that small. But then I also copy these. So they will shrink. Maybe I just go if cow.scale dot x, or maybe I can do just greater than or equal to self.scale. Does this work? What do we think of this? All right. Then if the number inside is bigger than 1, scale divided by num inside. All right. No, I do actually want it to be like that. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Go 1, and it's fine. But then if I put another one in there, hang on. Can I shrink this, by the way? I can't. That's good. There. So I got 2 in there and they both shrunk. That's what I wanted, actually. That's not actually... Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. So it's basically how I want it. It's good enough. I haven't focused too much on it. That is not an important detail. Essentially, the reason I was doing all that was to get back to demonstrating, because I completely lost track of why I even had this book in my hand. It's basically I oh whoops. I see. So where is the upper? Hang on. In upper children, times equals 0.8. Alright. over 2. So now when I go like this, it shrinks to about that big. That's good. You know? We'll actually make this go farther away, I think. Because we want it to be at just the right spot. That's actually exactly what I wanted. Thank you very much. We can go mind and then where. And then action. Darn it. Okay, hang on. There we go. So C. Kind of weird that it gets farther away the smaller it is. Kind of very weird that that is the case. I see. This is very interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here based on the way things are scaled. I see. So it's also applying the well, hang on. The way it's supposed to be is just with this a bit smaller, like that. So here's the issue. It is also applying the thing to the thing the next level down. And I actually would prefer it on the inner children. So it does apply to direct children. If this, here, we can go and, wait. And child not in, no, and child in direct children. Wait, hang on. Direct children might be the wrong list. Right? So here's the issue. It is applying this scaling to all of the children's children, essentially. So I want to see about 4 children. And if length of children. Here's the list of. So we need to have it. Where is it? Find Blarg. Where is it adjusting the child's position? Okay, in the physics process, it's doing that every frame with just get children. Okay. I'm gonna check how to ignore children of children in get children go. Let's see. Let me see. I've got to. So, we'll start by saying can we find the children of the children? Then we'll just say exclude those. Maybe instead. No, maybe instead. No, because I want it to scale a little. But I don't want to scale the children of my children. You know? And maybe I just go something like and child.getParent. Is that a thing? No? Okay. I'm just gonna search getParent in Godot. Or maybe how to. Because there might be a better. It does seem like getParent doesn't exist anymore in the current version of Godot. That's a little tricky. Oh, hang on a second. My music is gone. When that happened, I wonder. Let's go right back to it. Let's see. Actually, over here, yeah, getParent is a thing. I don't know why it's saying it isn't up here. Child.getParent not in children. And we'll add the same condition here. Now, does this kill me instantly? My favorite question. So that's worked. But the real question is, when I go and want to do this. Okay, so that's still done the thing I didn't want it to do. So that was completely useless then. Let's see. Because clearly I didn't do anything. So there's only ever going to be one upper child, I think. No? There could be more. Plus, or maybe minus, maybe we do plus, upper children there. This probably won't come up too much because at the moment there aren't any runes that require more than one upper child. Direct, so grr. What I need is 4. I just need a way to figure out if something is a child of a child, you know? Maybe I go... for child in... Well, hang on. First of all, I guess we can do this in here, because that will help us with the thing. If child dot... Well, maybe we just go start by printing child dot get there. Alright, because clearly it's not printing what I'm expecting it to be printing. Okay, so apparently it didn't quite work. It probably isn't doing anything yet, yeah. Okay, then I should be able to go. Okay. That stopped then. So that one prints as a draggable. But the other one prints as an at node 2D. That's curious. But then if I parent this way... Okay. So, for some reason that isn't counting as a node, is it? Huh. Odd. Very odd. I don't think that matters too much, though. I do think that we should have it... This really is tricky. Because I just need it to not scale the children of children, you know? You know, it actually really does not matter, and I've gotten completely sidetracked. It is a problem for future fix. Gaming of the future. What I actually need is for scroll editor Bing. Let's see, I should probably say so what I need is for none of this to be there first, essentially. Alright? What I need is let's see, maybe I add a child node and it will be I think just a panel. And this panel can be called select scroll, and it will be in front, and it will be size can be 1920 by 1080. And I can go and I can say add child node of a label. And then this label will be in it will say drag scroll here. Guess that's not gonna help. We need to display text, no layout, no. Where is the text size? I've kind of forgotten how to do this kind of thing. Or I should still be able to go and say transform size up. No. Scale up. Yeah, so if I just put this at like 5 and I transform. So 1920 over 2. That'd be 960. Okay, so that has put that there. I should make the anchor center. Then transform position can be 960. No, hang on a second. The issue is this hasn't been following. I think. Okay, well, I don't think that part actually matters then. Okay, then 960 over 2 is the next step down. That'd be 480. No, darn, it has to be a third. Or roughly. Well, more like 3/8, I guess. Because this is a fourth here. Half of this would be 290. 480 plus 290. Can I just do that math here? I can't. That still didn't do it, huh? Alright, fine. 640 will be good enough. And then I'll just guess. Right, and then this one, it's important that we make sure the mouse is stop. Alright. And if we go back, or we don't even need to go back there, we can click here. And click here, but now we have to drag a scroll onto it before it'll do things. And currently it won't do things either way because I've told it. I mean, there's no way to drag things on there. But before we, basically, what I need to do is on here, I need to say a new variable. Well, actually, at onReady variable. At onReady, select plane equals, and it's this one right here, like so. Oh wait, it does need to be a var. Alright, so we need to select the scroll, and then we need to say we will have a new function called function accept scroll, and we'll pass for now. But then we will also say here, at on ready start inventory equals this one. Yes. That's what makes sense right now to me. Because then we can get the inventory here. And then we we say, when we open this, open. Let's see if that works, huh? So we're able to do that, which is cool. I'm basically, so firstly, I want to open up this. And is there a way I could say could contain columns 3? I have 6 instead for first part, right? Then we extend this to fit. We shrink that to fit. This shouldn't affect the functionality at all. Alright, what it does allow me to do is on the player's UI, actually, I don't know if there's a difference there, but I can go like this, which is what I want. So when I run this now I can do this, and these will be the scrolls. Perfect. Perfectly perfect. Now is about when I need to decide on, or rather make some changes. Because right now those triangles that are in here don't mean anything. So these inventory slots, item visual, item display, yeah. Alright. Equals, where is this? Item display? I guess that's the inventory UI. If there's no item, okay. So the item visual, oh, I see. Kind of. Anyhow, this is the main one, I guess. So, let's see. Each one has this. What I need is... all that is fine. But where is my inventory object? Scroll up. Here is a resource, right? Is an inventory item resource. Is that a scene? It's been a little while. Inventory item.ed. Yes, okay. In that case, so basically these are the things that are there, but we need it to save more than what it is currently saving. Alright? And the reason for that is, I mean, it's pretty obvious what the reason for that is. We need it to store all the data from the scroll. which will actually pretty much just be an array of strings, I think. So export var data. I think this will be the thing we want. String equals, it will be nothing by default, but then I suppose we need a scroll editor. A new thing. A button. Just called save. And we can put the scale at 5, just because that's convenient. And we can put it there. Whoops. Call that save quit, and we will actually adjust this to say save and quit. That does need to move over a little. We'll put it inside that border just for the aesthetic. Okay, so now over in the scroll editor we will say oh boy, this is hard. This is probably the hardest part of the project, is figuring all this out. Alright. It's figuring out all the data, because now I'm having to put together a bunch of different stuff that I had previously made. And I'd been doing that before, but on a smaller scale, pretty much. Save button equals this one, and then this one is let me see about if there's anything specific to buttons in Godot. Because clearly they're there for a reason. Okay, so if I'm reading this right, on ready I should be able to say save button dot press dot connect save exit, or rather we'll say exit save scroll exit menu. And that isn't declared yet, but it's about to be. Function. I put the fun in function. Boom. Print. For now, we'll just have it print exit, just so I can test this. You know? Yeah, okay. So that is a good thing. So then I need it to oh boy, I need to do a bunch of stuff, don't I? So it needs to y'all can't see what I'm doing with my hands, but I'm basically like, not quite facepalm. I don't remember the words. I'm just, ooh. What has to happen here is many things, right? When you click that button, several things have to happen. First, I need to basically save all of the data that is currently in that scroll, right? So I really do need to find out how to get only the top level children. Like how to get a child without grandchildren, godot. Because that's what I need. An array of all children is get all children. Here, let me really quickly in Draggable. Oh, we have it printing child got get parent there. Let's see. Let me see if I can print get children. Alright. That is incorrect. Hang on. Need to go there. There. Oh, that's right. I can't use it right now. Hang on. Hang on a second. Can I disable it? No, that's just visible, I think. I think I need to just go in, not background, but instead select scroll, filter ignore. Then when I go here, alright, it should be, yeah. Okay, so it is getting those, but we don't care about those. So now it's also printing the node 2D. But then if I get another one on there. Whoops. Hang on. Let's stop it for a second. So it will be basically deciding, it'll be printing one for the top one, and then one for the one below it, and then none for the one below that because it doesn't have any children. But I do see how it is only printing the top one. Wait a second. If I scroll up a bit. I'm looking for one that has more children than the others. No, it does seem like it's already supposed to be doing what I want. So the reason it does weird things with the scale is actually because it's going to the scale, but then it's getting scaled itself. Right? And that's the issue with that. So doing the multiplied by equal doesn't quite work. So I think we will just go equals. Well, no. That won't help either. I think honestly we do have to just get rid of these statements about scaling. Because otherwise, it's just going to be very difficult. But either way, it looks to me as though I do need to make this back on stop. Then, I do need to actually for like the third time now, I need to make it so that you can drag things onto another things. On the inventory UI, what's this one looking like? So this actually isn't doing a whole lot, but get drag data, drop data here. If I say so accept scroll is actually the same thing as the drop data, believe it or not. Inventory so we don't need that. We don't need any of those. We just need the drop data. We'll just have it print the data for now. Alright. That should work. I think. That is incorrect. Hang on. So now when I go over here and I click there, I do that, does it do the thing? Okay. So are these in a group by any chance? Doesn't look like it. So why are they able to drag onto each other but not onto themselves? Can drop data here. Is inventory? Yeah, one is an integer. Let's try this. Does that work yet? No. The reason for this is that this scroll editor script is on the base, but it should be on select scroll. At least the way it's currently being used. Right? Right. Right. So we'll leave all that as it is, but instead we will touch script. Okay. Can go like that. And here we can try and go like this, maybe? That is incorrect once again. Hang on. Okay, I can. And that does work. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Then we can say, visible. Visible equals false. First thing is visible equals false. Second thing is set mouse filter. Mouse filter dot set equals control dot mouse filter ignore. Alright. So now when I do this, I do that. Okay, awesome. Then I do need I do need the inventory UI to go away after I do that. Actually, speaking of, I do need to double check really quickly. Okay, yeah, that doesn't actually get rid of it. That's exactly what I wanted, because I don't want them to disappear when I do that. So that's good. And I should say on already. Var in UI equals slash yes. That is what I want. I think that works. Then we say, once you've dropped the data, MVUI dot load. That's a thing I can do, isn't it? MVUI. Inventory. No, that is different. MVUI slot is also different. Here we go. Is it just called close? It is just called close. Now we do, that is also incorrect. Now go Bing, Bing, no. Null instance. Gotcha. Okay. So the reason for that is because the path is different. Fulls. Get node. Can I go like this? Does that work? No. Gotcha. So it'd be $. In fact, let's start by getting the player. Alrighty, so that's clear. So we want, in scroll editor, we want this one. Alright, because this is going to be related, or basically based on relative things. So if I go // in UI, how's that? That is wrong again. How does this work? No. Okie dokie. Then I just need, I'm tempted to just make a scene group, you know? We'll just call this group UI elements. Right? And then this will also be in that. So then we will go function on function ready. We will say there's a variable named inventory UI. Then we say inventory UI equals get nodes in group UI elements. Alright, how does that work? Hang on. It's get tree first. How does that work? Yeah. And then we'll actually say variable UI equals all those. And then we can say inventory UI equals how does one get specific names? Goals UI dot. So this is an array we're looking at here. Dot find. UI dot find name equals inv UI. How does this work, by the way? First occurrence of what or -1? Okay. So we will search for. I actually really don't know. This is a little bit confusing. Something is not. We'll just try this and see what kind of error it gives. You never know. Confident it will give an error though. Non-existent function close base integer. Okay, then what if I go UI? What if it's like that though? Oh, actually? Okay. Cool. And then the last thing to do would probably be to just like once again set the mouse. Hang on. Because the inventory UI sets the mouse mode to captured, right? Once it closes. So I'm going to be incredibly lazy and make the wrong decision here. Mouse mode visible, I think it is. Mouse mode visible. So now that's about what I wanted. Coolio. And we don't need that printing that anymore. It was somewhere up here, right? Yeah. I read the title as Pro Gaming and got confused about the category. Nope. Not a boo guy. You are close, but you're missing exactly one R. The second M is optional. Good guess though. We're making good progress today. Alright. So we do need, I think, so back down. Okay, let's close some of these. Close these. Once we've gotten this data, I guess the brain just skips the second M. Also the. The second the. Absolutely it does. We can print data once you've done all those things. And then after, so yeah, this is just to verify that it's all working. We've got all the things. I can't jump, which is going to be annoying eventually. I'm going to want to have a jump eventually. Or maybe not. You never actually know. But now we have this. And now when I close this, we will see yes. So it shows us that it's resource, this nonsense, and then a 3. Which is good. I do need, so the only difficulty is that you don't know. So this is what those are, right? So it has resource, this, and then wait, hang on, no, that's not quite it. What it, so it is a resource, obviously. In the inventory, maybe generators. I've confused myself on my own code. It happens all the time. Let's see. Whoops. So then there is the Bobby 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 Bobby. What I need is resource number. There's a resource in here somewhere. Hang on. I guess these would be the resources, huh? Then here, I suppose we go like this. I feel like there was a different thing somewhere though. Am I crazy? I feel like we had other things. We obviously have this. Okay. So then, this is what we're thinking about. Assets, inventory, items, / scroll. So this inventory system might not work for me anymore. Unless I'm able to update this data. We'll have to check, right? So I'm going to go into inventory UI, and I'm going to say, well, actually, hang on. Inventory, inventory. So I was looking at this, right? That is assets, inventory, items, which just doesn't exist. Like, that's not a folder I have. Where'd it go? That's a little weird. So, what's in here? Oh, those aren't important. Wait. Select scroll GD7. Okay, so it just happened to work. Right, this actually didn't actually do this. So how do I actually use this? Find... Okay, so that isn't quite the case. Good to know. We do need to find, whoops, that is the wrong thing. It's this one I want. The Cloudflare stuff is because I was working on my Twitch bot the other day. I need to find node by name. Finding node by name. Find node. Find node. Maybe I go and say, instead of this, right? Maybe I say that we ought to equals layer UI / in UI, which does need to be called with @onReady. How do we feel about this? Is this something we're comfy cozy with? No. Right. So, I mean, that does obviously just shrimply not work, but here we can go parent, and then parent, and then, so we could perhaps go dot dot slash dot dot slash. Does this not work? I guess we gotta put in the quotation marks. How's about that? No. Gotcha. How's about that? No. Darn it. We'll just call it inventory UI. And then we will just shrimply say equals get tree, then dot get nodes in group in VUI of 0. Now this ought to work. Yeah. Cool. I don't know why I keep telling you that it's newer on disk. So it might be because somewhere hidden from me somehow there is an asset. Wait a second, it's because I was using a search? Goodness, that's ridiculous of me. I didn't even see that. Let's see. This, so over here, up data, print data dot data. Or rather, can I tell it, because there should be an inventory item, can I tell it to print name? Data.name. Let's see if that's a thing it can do. And if not, why not? Oh, okay. Data. Wait a second. Why is data an array? Oh, I understand. Because the inventory stores the array. And then the, yeah, okay. So print data 0.name. How's about that? Oops. Scroll. Okay, perfect. Now the hard part. Basically, we have to instantiate all the data of the scroll, which is hard to do. At least for me specifically. Maybe someone else's would be easy to work with. Not sure. But dot data. So this will be empty right now. Right? But the important part is that we have it. So let me see. I'm going to want to say here, I believe I should be able to go and say function load scroll. All right. Pass. We can say data. And I can say I think I can do signal. Or maybe it's actually here I can go. Okay, here. How to make a custom signal? Because that's what I'm after. Signals. Bum 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 bum. Connecting via code. Complete strict custom signals. There we go. Okay, it's a signal. Gotcha. Then I can say here, I think, emit okay, hang on. So it needs to be a signal first. And we will say signal transfer scroll data, and then emit, no, transfer scroll data dot emit, and then we will say data 0 dot data. Yes. Well, for now we'll do dot name so we actually can see it happening. Know that it happened properly. Okay. And then if I look in signals now, as it okay, then oh, I see. Doesn't look like doesn't actually look like it's worked at the moment. Oh wait, here it is. Connect this to scroll editor, pick, load scroll. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. So now when I go here, now I should be able to just simply do the thing, you know? And it says scroll exactly as we wanted. Now, difficulties begin. So we can get the data from the scroll to the editor. Then, in the editor. Really quickly, I actually need to double check. Whoops. What's this need for? Oh, that's that. Alright, so ignore that. We go here. Here, and I actually need to double check what these are children of. So I actually need to go up to draggable. You need to say on ready print original parent. Because I need to know what they're children of. Alright. Let's bring this here. Gosh, I don't know what's up with it. But it doesn't actually... I mean, there's nothing up with it. I know exactly why it does the things it does. Because I told it to. Pretty much. Yeah, so scroll editor is its original parent. Which is actually a good thing. Or at least a convenient thing. For this particular moment. It probably will become a bad thing later. But... So the data... So... Basically, I need it to have an array. Alright? I need the... So maybe actually inventory item is an array. Array equals nothing by default. Right? So that's how it is by default. Then when I instantiate it, I will say for item in data. All right. We will just pass for now. Or actually, we'll just print it. Then this actually, I don't think I ever made the button do the thing. Base button. Press. Connect. In scroll editor. Pick. Save scroll editor. Like that. There. Question mark. There it is. Okay. We're at 2.5 hours. I think I'm gonna call it here. There's a lot I want to do, but I also need to sleep. Very much so. So that I don't have stink brain tomorrow. Next steps, I'm gonna even put in a to-do, like a fancy. The to-do, we're going to add, so instantiate runes specified by data, then save rune, save runes combos to data. So that's basically what I need to do. It shouldn't actually be that difficult. So it all depends on whether or not I'm able to edit these inventory item resources. Because if not, then I need to like restructure the entire inventory, which won't be particularly hard because I've learned about how to do these things now a little bit more because I first made this inventory thing ages ago. It'll be better if I redo it. Probably. But saving things is something I don't quite know how to do at the moment. Because everything kind of gets rid of itself after I close the app at the moment. But in the future, that will not be the case. Nor should it be. Now, I am going to pause this for the first time in all stream. And I'm going to raid out. Because, like I said, it is 12:30 a.m. And that is not a good time for me to be awake. Well, we can go into them. They just raided me. So it's perfect to go back into them. They're playing Oxygen Not Included. That's awesome.
No, not hydrogen.
I hope you guys had a good time. I certainly did. Very productive. It always is really productive when I stream my programming. So that's why I like to do it. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hee hee.